Hey everyone, Ash here with the Better Than Yesterday blog. Okay, so we all know that a good chunk of Americans are terrified of getting audited by the IRS, which can lead to hoarding tax records. You definitely need to be organized and prepared for any potential audit, but it's also okay to pitch records once the appropriate amount of time has passed. Okay, let's see how long you need to keep your tax records, because it kind of depends on your situation. If you file a claim for a loss from worthless securities or bad debt deduction, then you need to keep your tax records for 7 years, from the date that you filed your original tax return. And if you do not report income that you should report, and it's more than 25% of the gross income shown on your tax return, then you need to keep your tax records for 6 years. If you file a claim for a credit or refund after filing your return, then the IRS expects you to keep your tax records for the next 3 years from the date that you filed your original return. And if the next couple situations do not apply to you, then you need to keep your tax records for 3 years. If you do not file a tax return, for whatever the reason may be, or if you file a fraudulent tax return, then you need to keep your tax records forever. If your tax situation allows you to dispose of your tax records after the appropriate amount of time has passed, then let's go over a few ways to safely dispose of your confidential records. There are a few ways to safely dispose of your confidential records, even if you don't own a shredder personally. You can use a local paper shredding service. You can also check with your local businesses, banks, tax firms, recycling companies, to see if they offer a shred day as a service to local customers. You also have the option to burn the tax documents, but you want to make sure that that's actually allowed in your area. And an eco-friendlier option is to just add them to your compost. You can also soak them in water, but that is a little time-consuming. Another time-consuming one is using multi-cut scissors, but hey, if you're desperate, you can do it. For the time frames that you do have to store your tax records, be sure to keep them organized and secure. Whether you have a paper or electronic record, one way to stay organized is to have a separate folder for each tax year. If you store paper documents, be sure to keep your tax records in a waterproof and fireproof safe. And a safer and more efficient option is to store your documents electronically. You can scan your tax records and store them electronically in the cloud or on an encrypted drive. To keep your information safe, set up a unique password or two-factor authentication. Follow along for more tax tips this tax season.